Hello, hello, hello. What it do? It's your girl Ash. And I'm coming back to you today, okay? This is going to be a part 2 of my last video. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Okay, we are diving back into my confessions of a corporate introvert. But today I want to talk about the positives of being an introvert in corporate spaces and what sort of advantages this gives you. Okay. Now, my last video, I kind of just talked about, AI, layoffs, and how I feel about leadership in corporate America as the more observant, quiet type. And it's not to say that I'm not comfortable being social. When I first, stepped foot into corporate America, I definitely was a little bit more timid, definitely wasn't as confident. I felt very nervous speaking up in meetings, leading presentations. If I was going to be introduced to an executive, if there was any sort of leadership on the call or in the room, I was very nervous, right? I was so focused on who everybody was and how I was presenting myself. But now I would say I'm not like that at all. I'm very calm. I'm very comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with my skill set. Obviously, that comes with time being in a place. I've been in corporate America for 7 years, so, I'm pretty comfortable with the dynamics and the politics of it all, and I know what to expect. But I did do some work on myself to make sure that I was just my best self socially, when it came to leadership, when it came to just expressing myself and using my voice. That's a place where you really have to be comfortable using your voice, no matter what kind of personality you have. And so I want to share with you guys 4 things that I did to basically unlock my voice and unlock my confidence as somebody that's a bit more shy into themselves. And I don't even really consider myself shy anymore. So I think that's a win. Not that being shy is a bad thing, but I did feel like my shyness was a little bit more on the socially anxious side. And I just had a lot of uncomfortable emotions going on. So we're going to unpack it, and I'm going to help you out if you feel the same way. Because honestly, I want to start by saying this, and this is something I wish somebody said to me when I first, was presented with the idea of like, okay, I need to find my voice and I need to be more confident. I always thought that this meant I had to be a different person or I had to change myself. I remember thinking to myself back then, like, okay, I have to become the life of the party. I have to become, this social butterfly. And that's not true at all. I'm literally the same person. The only difference is I have a little bit more audacity and I just use my voice a little bit more, but nothing else has really changed. Like surface level, nothing else has changed. Obviously some things have changed on a deeper level. But I just want to start by saying you are perfectly fine as is. You are amazing as is. You need to accept yourself as is and understand that there's actually nothing wrong with being shy, with being an introvert, with being quiet. It doesn't matter what space you're in. It doesn't matter who's trying to convince you that you're not good enough, that you're not doing enough. You're fine as is, okay? We can turn up the volume on your voice, but other than that, you are fine as is, okay? So I just want to start there. Now, knowing that we are just beautiful as is, it's okay to, make a little bit of improvements here and there. So the first thing I want you to do is check the labels that you connect to yourself. When I got my first corporate job, I was so excited because I felt like such an adult. I felt like such a grown woman, you know what I'm saying? I got benefits, I got medical insurance, I'm getting a really nice check every, 2 weeks. I'm working on some really cool big projects, and I was like, wow, I'm a grown woman. And there were so many positive things that came with that. But the one thing that I was so nervous about is the fact that I like to kind of stay to myself a little bit. And I always kind of thought that, in corporate spaces, when you're in an office, it seems like this big bustling place where everybody's just in each other's face all the time talking. And that's not really the case. If you know, you know. But there is a level of communication and a professionalism that everybody has. And so my shyness really held me back at first. And I want to start by saying and encouraging you to check the labels, okay? For me, the things I attached to myself was I'm shy, I'm intelligent, I always saw myself as a leader, but my definition of leader was a bit different because I wasn't super comfortable using my voice yet. But I did know that I had some really great creative ideas and a perspective on, the world and ethics and how things should be. Like, I've always been that kind of thinker. But that shy label was really holding me back. And as I started to kind of learn more about myself and practice speaking and just being more in this workspace, I started to want to detach from that word a little bit because it just had a negative connotation to me in my body. Growing up, actually as a child, I was super bubbly. I was very performative, like always singing, always dancing, always creating something. And then, middle school, elementary to middle school, high school, I definitely became more timid, more of an observer, less of a participant in life. I played sports and I had my group of friends, but I wasn't necessarily like a social butterfly. I wasn't like popular or anything like that. And I did feel like I was lacking confidence, definitely. I would hide myself. I would wear, I wasn't very girly. I was more of a tomboy, that kind of way of being. And I wasn't really resonating with that anymore. This new job, it really inspired me to just kind of tap into a different side of myself. And so I decided to research shyness, research introversion. What do these things actually mean? I had a perspective on how the world saw it. A lot of the connotation was pretty negative, if I'm honest, but I wanted to just do some research. And I came across this book called The Introvert Advantage. And this was the first time that I saw somebody talking about shyness and introversion and just being more reserved as like a positive thing, as almost like this secret, like, superpower that the world just, underestimates. And I started to be like, ooh, okay, let me dive into this a little bit more. And I also started to think about, what does confidence actually look like to me? Maybe I don't want to be the social butterfly. Maybe I don't want to be the life of the party. Maybe I just want to be able to, like, when I'm buying groceries, have a little bit of small talk with the cashier. Maybe I want to just walk in an elevator and be able to look somebody in the eye and be like, good morning, and like not freaking pass out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I want to make a doctor's appointment by myself and not be uncomfortable. Or back to the corporate thing, present in a meeting, share the great work that I'm doing without my voice sounding like I'm, running on a treadmill. You know what I'm saying? So just researching all of the amazing things that actually come with being an introvert, our ability to think deeply and create thoughtful responses, our ability to observe, read a room, read other people's emotions, read people's needs, anticipate needs, our emotional intelligence, our ability to listen and really try to connect with the thing or the person. I think introverts make amazing managers, like dealing with people, showing compassion, the ability to just kind of slow down. It's, again, I'm not trying to say one is better than the other, but I think these traits come a bit more natural to someone who is a bit more introverted and shy. So check the label. Do you even resonate with being shy, being quiet anymore? If so, I want you to research what that actually means. What are the amazing gifts and talents that come with being this sort of person? Reflect on yourself. What are the things I do when I get home? Or the things that people tell me, like, wow, you're really good at that. What are the things I hide about myself? Like, really think about it, because I can assure you, you're sitting on some things that you need to let out into the world, you know? And make sure you know what confidence looks like to you. Don't let the world define it for you, okay? Next thing, okay? So once I did my reflecting and I was like, okay, I'm not really shy. Am I introverted? Yeah, I like to be to myself. You know, I have a social battery that's very finicky. That's me. I like to work alone more than in teams, but I can do both, you know? Now that I'm aware, let's dive deeper into like more of who I am. And this is where we get into the mindfulness aspect of things. This is where we talk a little bit about meditation and like the actual things I did to feel more confident. Okay, so mindfulness. I want to ask you this. Just close your eyes and I want you to think about the things that you think about every day. Would you consider yourself someone that thinks more in the past, more in the future, or are you someone that can kind of stay in the present? For me, I'm definitely in the future a lot. I'm always planning ahead. I'm always thinking about the next thing. But knowing the kind of thinker that you are can help give you clues to what's going on in your body. When you're a future-based thinker, chances are you feel a lot of anxiety, right? Anxiety is like a fear-based emotion. It's a fear-based sensation, right? If you think a lot in the past, chances are you might deal with some like depression feelings and some depressive thoughts, which I've been there as well. Now, mindfulness, the idea of living in the present, this is kind of what helps us, at least from a mental standpoint, start to address our shyness. I look at it as a way to address our shyness literally in the moment with another person. Like when I would enter social conversations or social situations or conversations, the person would be talking to me and I'm sitting there thinking about, okay, what am I going to say, right? I'm in the future. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? If you're a past thinker, maybe you're thinking about, oh my God, the last time I talked to somebody, I said the dumbest shit ever. Oh my God. The last time I presented, I didn't even share the right information. I didn't share my screen fast enough. Oh, I look like such a dud. You know, our brain takes us to these crazy places, right? But staying in the moment, staying with the person, staying with the idea that, okay, I'm on this Zoom call right now and I'm presenting this thing and this is a fresh moment. Like being able to root yourself in the present is a skill. It's a skill. It's not something that you should just be able to do. So I want to start by saying that, okay, it is hard at first, but once you learn how to do it, oh my gosh, socializing becomes so fun. Work becomes so much more fun. Presenting, hosting meetings, facilitating, it becomes so much more fun because you're not so worried about these crazy thoughts appear and even the thoughts in other people's brains, right? Sometimes it's not even us that we're afraid of. We're afraid of, oh my God, what is this person thinking of me right now? Do I look okay? Did the last thing I say, you know, did they laughed, but like, was it funny? Were they laughing at me? Like, you know, we get so crazy in our brains when it comes to just having a conversation. And these freaking screens and these phones is not helping, okay? It's beautiful that we can create communities online, but like, we got to be able to shoot the shit in person, you know? So meditation, man. Oh, I started to meditate using guided meditations straight off of YouTube. I would schedule on my Outlook before meetings 5 to 10 minute blocks of just quiet time. And I would go and I would meditate and I would sit there and I would just breathe No nostril breathing, not mouth breathing, but nostril breathing to help calm my nervous system. And I would just remind myself, I am calm and confident. I speak with ease. I am calm and confident. I speak with ease. And I would just tell myself that. I would find a guided meditation that would tell me that. I would use whatever I could find to help put my body in a calm state. Right before the meeting, the presentation, the coffee chat, the whatever, right? Y'all, I kid you not. There was one time I got off a Zoom call and I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was in that joint just talking, you know what I'm saying? I said a little jokey joke, you know, it was like a brainstorming kind of meeting where we're just sharing ideas, and these were the ones that were like the bane of my existence. Because if you're more introverted and reserved, a lot of your ideas hit you after the call, after the fucking conversation, or you're on the call, in the conversation, and you just don't want to share because you're not confident in your ideas, right? But man, this day I was just sharing stuff, and there was a nice back and forth, and I got off the call and I was like, whoa, like my body felt calm, and there wasn't like okay, I'm gonna speak now, and then I spoke. Like it was just like my brain, my body there was so much of a mind-body connection and just a flow going on, and I was like, oh shit, meditation is the thing. And I've been doing it ever since, y'all. It's been 7 years. I literally have my meditation and mindfulness certification to teach other people because I'm obsessed with it so much. It changed my life, literally. So meditation, okay, look up guided meditations. Also journaling, writing down all the crazy thoughts in your brain, writing down all the things you're afraid you're gonna say that you most likely aren't gonna say. Get all that shit on paper beforehand, you know, and then go in there and just be in the moment. Stay in the present. Like you will literally say and do things that you didn't think you were capable of, and you won't have to think about it. Your body will just make it happen. So much fun. Okay, so to recap, mindfulness, figure out if you're a past, present, or future thinker. Okay, practice meditation and training your mind, training your focus. I want to say too, meditation is not about clearing your mind. This whole misconception that your mind needs to be blank and silent, it's literally impossible. Our brain is a supercomputer full of records of the past, right? It's always shooting stuff at us. So to quiet this takes so much stress and energy, right? Just don't even try to do it. I want you to think of meditation as mental fitness. Think of it like going to the gym, okay? When we go to the gym, we pick up a dumbbell, we do a curl, that's 1 rep, right? When you sit down to meditate, you close your eyes, right? You're in your comfy position, whether you want to lay down, you could sit with your legs out, crossed. The seating position literally does not matter, okay? What you want to do is just close your eyes, and I want you to treat, because your mind is going to wander, okay? You're going to be closing your eyes, you're going to be breathing, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm meditating right now. You're going to be talking to yourself, your mind is going to be going crazy. I want you to take 1 big deep breath. I want you to sigh it out, and I want you to just catch your next breath. Just find your next breath. Oh, I just went in. Oh, there it goes. I just breathed out. Oh, it's in. Oh, it's out. Oh, now a thought comes in, right? You start thinking about work, or you start thinking about, that thing that you need to go do. I want you to notice that thought, and I want you to say, oh, there it is. Okay, I'll come back to you later. And I want you to just let it go like a cloud. Let that joint just float away, okay? And then I want you to go back to your breath. That is 1 rep, okay? You want your mind to wander. The more your mind wanders, and the more you bring your attention back to your breath, or back to the sound, or whatever you choose as your focal point, the more you do that, y'all, listen, you building that muscle, you putting them reps in, and before you know it, you'll be sitting down to meditate. And 5 minutes will go by and not a thought has interrupted your breathing, and you're just right there with your breath. And the more you do that, the easier it is to stay focused, right? And that's what these corporations, they don't want from us, right? They want us to be online scrolling. They want us to stare at the screens all day. They want to ruin our attention span. They want to steal our focus, right? But when you know how to train your focus and train your attention, like you're at the gym, I'm telling you, you become so powerful. You just have this, literally your aura changes. You have this like one of my coworkers literally called me a gentle giant. Because I started to talk in meetings and he was like, you're so quiet. You have this like calm demeanor, but when you speak with such conviction. It's like, you're like a gentle giant. And I was like, ooh, I like that. Put that in my pocket, been saying it ever since. But yes, y'all, meditation, mindfulness, journaling, get into it, okay? If you need some help, hit me up. I'll literally train you one-on-one, okay? Alrighty, y'all. The third thing that I want you to do to unlock your introvert advantage, to unlock your social superpowers, okay? Let's talk somatics, okay? We talked about mindfulness, right? We talked about the mind. Let's get into the body. Now I want to ask you, when you are in social situations, when you're at work, when you are in these predicaments that require you to show confidence, what does your body feel like? What's going on inside of your body? For me, I'm sweating bullets, okay? My heart is racing and my stomach is turning and just feels crazy. And when I go to speak, my voice is like I'm almost short of breath and my voice can't project, right? So that's what's going on in my body. Now, somatic focused healing, somatic practices, it's all about being in the body and focusing on sensations. And so that throat drying up, right? That shortness of breath, that's a sensation. Our heart racing, right? That's our nervous system. That's our sympathetic nervous system turning on because it thinks we're in a situation that's scary and that's dangerous, right? So our heart rate has sped up, right? We're sweating because we're hot. Our body's trying to calm us down and cool us down, right? Knowing that, I want to introduce you guys to the chakra system, okay? You may know about it. It's pretty popular right now on social media in the wellness community. A lot of people are talking about the chakra system. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. But your chakras are energy centers all over your body. There's like main chakras are 7 energy centers, but we have energy centers all over our body. There's hundreds of them. And these chakra centers align with certain emotions and just ways of being in life, right? So our throat, for example, our way of communication, our way of self-expression, our solar plexus, our stomach area, like our kind of more upper stomach area here, kind of in the center. This is like I call this our personal power pack. This is like where our confidence is. This is where our sense of self is, our self-concept. Like it's like right here in our core, right? Who are you to your core, right? Our sacral chakra, if we go down, a little bit closer to like our pelvic area to where like our reproductive area is, our sacral chakra deals with creativity, our sensuality, our ability to bring creation to life. Our third eye, our intuition, our crown, our ability to know and connect with source, our heart chakra, self-love, loving others, compassion. All of these energy centers govern ways of being and emotions, right? Now, chances are if you're shy, if you're lacking some confidence, these chakras are blocked, okay? Definitely your solar plexus, So when you feel those stomach aches, that's your solar plexus telling you we're blocked. There's some energy here, right? When you have shortness of breath and your voice sounds crazy when you're trying to speak, that's your throat blocked. You got some energy there that you need to work out. When your heart's racing, right? When you're like, oh my God, that's your heart chakra, right? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe what you're saying? Do you love your voice? Do you like your voice? Do you even want people to hear your voice? You know? All of these things combined, it really takes it to a deeper level. And me personally, I love affirmations, I love journaling, I love meditation, but my favorite thing right now is somatics. Just getting to the feeling, getting into the body, getting into the sensation, talking to the body, touching the body, figuring out what's going on inside. That really will get you to the root. Okay, it'll really, really get you to the root. So I want you to look up your chakra system. I want you to look up and kind of decide for yourself, which ones do you feel like are blocked? Where do you feel in your body tension and uncomfortability? And use your breath, y'all. Breath work. Listen, our body does so many amazing things for us, right? It digests our food for us. It helps us cool off by creating sweat, like I mentioned. It also does our breathing, right? It also handles our ability to wake up every day and exist, right? Inhale, exhale all day long. We don't have to think about it. Yet, if we wanted to, right now, we could hold our breath, right? Can we digest on command? No. Can we just sweat on command? No. Breathing is the only automatic function our body has that we can 100% control. And that is on purpose, okay? We're supposed to use our breath. And the more we ignore our breath and just treat it as the thing that's supposed to keep us alive, the shorter our breath and our time on this earth will be, unfortunately. It's facts. Because our breath is just, it's literally everything. The first thing we do when we come to be is inhale. And the last thing we're going to do when we die is exhale. So learning to inhale and exhale on purpose every day and use it as a way to energize ourselves, right? The faster you breathe, we're creating heat. We're creating energy in the body. The slower we breathe, we're calming our nervous system. We're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, right? The part that wants to heal us and calm us. And we're telling the other part of the nervous system, hey, everything's good. We're not in danger. Chill. It's okay. You know? Use that breath. It's our greatest tool. Okay? Okay. The fourth thing I want you to do to unlock that introvert advantage, okay? I want you to use everything that we just talked about. Check the labels, meditate, breath work, learn about your body, learn about yourself and what confidence means for you. Once you do all that, I want you to go out there in the world and I want you to practice, okay? I want you to get uncomfortable and I want you to start talking to people. Now, if you're somebody that works at an office, I want to challenge you to speak in the elevator, okay? When someone walks in an elevator, good morning, good afternoon, how you doing? When you enter, look everybody in the eye, good morning, how's everybody doing? You know, when you go to the grocery store and you're putting your stuff on the belt, you walk over, look at the cashier, hey, how's it going? How's your day been? Simple. I want you to just get uncomfortable. And look, sometimes you're going to meet people that are going to be like, I'm fine, thank you. Or they're going to look at you like, why are you speaking to me? Or they're going to respond to you and then they're going to want to have a conversation. You're going to be like, oh shit, I wasn't ready for a full conversation. Guess what? You're going to just do that shit anyway. And at the end of it, you're going to realize, whoa, I kind of liked that. That was kind of nice. Whoa, I didn't die. I'm still alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the funniest thing about being shy, like when I would have to be in social situations, It's this thing called the spotlight effect. It's actually a psychological thing. And I walked around the world feeling like there was literally a spotlight on me. And everywhere I went, people were just looking at me. Oh my God, she just took a step. Oh, she took another step. Oh, she's about to speak. Oh, what is she going to say? Oh. Listen, the greatest thing I realized is that nobody gives a fuck. Like, it really freed me. Nobody cares that much about what you got going on. And if they do, they need help. Okay? And that's help that you cannot provide. So keep it moving. But when you really like let that sink in, like, yo, I can talk to somebody and go about my life and they're not going to think about it again probably. Or I can literally fall on my face in front of all these people. They might laugh. They might talk about it for 2 minutes. But in an hour, they're going to be thinking about, not even in an hour, in 10 minutes, they're going to be thinking about all the shit that they're stressed about and everything that they got going on, right? Everybody's in their own little worlds at the end of the day. So when you get out there and you're talking to people, I want you to remember that. And I want you to really wear yourself, wear who you are as a badge of honor. Like, I think being shy and being a little socially awkward and being a little just quirky or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I actually think it's the most adorable, like, cool thing. Because anytime I meet people like this, once we break the ice and we get to talking, they're the most interesting, cool fucking people. They're either super talented, super artistic, super like into something niche that you would never even think about, but they're so good at it. Like, it's just, I love people, and I love the fact that there are so many different kinds of people. And the world being such a loud, boom, boom, be bold, be this, be louder, do more. In a world like that, like, just embracing who you are and being comfortable with that, it's so refreshing, and people fucking love it. And just being the kind of person that's just like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, even if it's a little awkward, people love that shit. I love that shit. When people just speak to me and say something nice and we just have a cool conversation, that shit makes my day. And in this fucking scary, everything's gonna be a robot in 2 years world, we need that. We need more of that shit, okay? So, yes, talk in the elevator. Ask your manager, ask your boss for more opportunities to lead. Ask somebody who's really, really good at facilitating meetings, how did you learn to speak so well? Get on YouTube and look up how to speak more confidently, how to lead more confidently, and then sit in front of your mirror. I literally used to do this. I would sit in front of the mirror and I would practice, like, pretending that I'm doing a TED Talk or some shit. And I would just practice, like, talking to a crowd of people when there's, like, nobody there. But, like, these are the things you have to do. Another thing, if you're somebody that is in a corporate setting or you network a lot, use the notes app on your phone and create a note of, like, social, like, create like your social butterfly note, right? Have a section of questions that you can ask people, like work boring questions, but also like look up some cool different questions, like, what are you excited about these days? What's the coolest place you've ever been to? Write questions down so that you're ready to go. And then I want you to write down like your 2-minute elevator pitch of like who you are. For example, me. Hey, if somebody were, so, hi Ashley, it's nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Oh, hi Jim, it's nice to meet you too. Yeah, I'm Ashley. I'm originally from Virginia. I'm living in Washington right now. I love to read. I love meditation. I'm a foodie. I love to travel. I work in the project management space. You know what I'm saying? Like, have your elevator pitch down and practice it so that when you're in these social situations, you're not like, and then because you don't know what to say, your nervous system kicks in and is like, oh shit, we gotta go save her. And then you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be prepared and set yourself up for greatness so that when you're in these moments, you can just be present and enjoy the fact that you're connecting with somebody else. And yeah, really like place your attention on the other person. I think we, as more shy, introverted people, we do this really well anyway. We're great listeners, and we're good at making people feel warm and feel like they can just open up to us. But don't be afraid to talk about yourself either. But I think it's really good to like put your attention on the other person and make sure that you're asking more questions and like really just being present in the conversation. And I promise you, like, the more you practice, the more you try, the more you just put yourself out there, you're gonna shock the shit out of yourself, okay? But meditate before you do it. That's all I'm gonna say, okay? So guys, that's all I wanted to share. I just got my yap on, but that felt really, really good. This is something I've been wanting to share for a while. So yes, to my, reserved folks, my introverted business professionals, my introverted leaders, my entrepreneurs, whoever you are, if you just want to feel a little bit more confident and use your voice more often, I really, really hope this video has helped. And if you want some more help, hit me up one-on-one. I do one-on-one training, and I would love to just help you unlock your superpowers. Okay, so thanks for listening, y'all. See you next time.